guys follow TraxNYC? A lot of you are. You have seen that a crazy scene went down over there today.
This is how a jewelry scam allegation turned into one of the most viral business confrontations of 2026.
Famous New York City jeweler absolutely loses it on rival jeweler who was allegedly ripping off his customers by pretending to be him.
TraxNYC, a celebrity jeweler who appeared in the Adam Sandler film Uncut Gems, discovered that AK Diamonds was allegedly selling low-quality gold under his brand name, and after reimbursing a scammed customer $22,000, he stormed into their booth, demanding answers. The encounter ended with someone spitting in his face, a full brawl, and both AK Diamonds owners arrested for assault. But here's what's interesting. Both sides claim they're the real victims. So who's telling the truth about what happened in that Diamond District booth? Stick around, because this goes way beyond a simple business dispute.
Akai sold it to him under false pretenses for $22,000. Evidently, it was a 14 karat. It was supposed to be a 14 karat bracelet with certain quality diamonds, I believe VS and SI and all that. And this bracelet turned out to be 9 karat.
If you've been anywhere on social media in the last few days, you've seen clips of this absolute chaos playing out in a jewelry store with arrests, hospital visits, and fraud allegations flying in every direction. To really understand what happened, here we need to start from the beginning. TraxNYC is a celebrity jeweler based in New York's Diamond District, and his real name is Makud Ajani. His entire business revolves around custom hip-hop jewelry for high-profile clients. The chains and bracelets and watches and rings you see rappers wearing in music videos, the company has become well-known in that world, and the reputation he's built is everything to him.
The guy got scammed, got angry, and then it's a bad look. Like if you say you're associated with a business and then you scam like a customer, it's a bad look for not only your business, but the business you claim to be associated with.
You might recognize him from another place. Back in 2019, TraxNYC had a cameo in the movie Uncut Gems, playing a character named Juicy, one of the jewelers working for Howard Ratner, the character Adam Sandler played. Sandler spent quite a bit of time on 47th Street preparing for that role, and TraxNYC was one of the real jewelers he studied to get into character. This isn't just some random guy with an Instagram account. This is someone who's been in the jewelry business for years and has built a legitimate brand. If you're not familiar with New York's Diamond District, let me give you some context because it matters for understanding how this whole situation went down.
This company went and sold it to a customer, claimed to be a part of Trax. This guy bought it for $22,000, and that makes Max look like a fool.
The Diamond District is a single block on West 47th Street in Manhattan between 5th and 6th Avenues, and it's been the center of the diamond and jewelry trade in New York for decades. When I say it's concentrated, I mean thousands of independent businesses operate out of small booths and shops packed incredibly close together. Going to the Diamond District isn't like going to a mall where every store has its own space. These booths are literally side by side, sometimes just separated by a counter or a thin partition, and everyone can see and hear what's happening at the booth next to them. When a confrontation breaks out, it's not happening in private, but in front of other jewelers, other customers, everyone in that immediate area. That proximity is part of what made this incident so intense and why it got captured on so many different cameras.
He went and he gave the guy his $22,000 back. He gave it to him. Like a man should, right? Like a man should. He gave him the money.
On January 1st, 2026, TraxNYC posted a video on Instagram, and he was absolutely furious. In this video, he's holding up a receipt and a bracelet while calling out a company called AK Diamonds, saying they've been pretending to be him and scamming his customers. You might be wondering how one jewelry store can pretend to be another one. According to TraxNYC, the scam worked two ways. First, AK Diamonds was allegedly telling customers they were affiliated with TraxNYC, so customers would come in thinking they were buying from TraxNYC or at least buying TraxNYC products. Second, the jewelry they were selling wasn't what it was advertised to be. In the video, TraxNYC has a customer standing right next to him who says he came in with a picture from TraxNYC's actual website, thinking he was buying authentic TraxNYC merchandise. That customer ended up at AK Diamonds instead, and they sold him a bracelet with a receipt that says the bracelet is 14 karat gold. When TraxNYC tests it right there on camera, it comes back as 10 karat gold, and that's a huge difference.
So this is the receipt from this disgusting company that pretends to be me, says they're TraxNYC, sells my customer a bracelet, rips them off, and rips them off on the gold. Shit, they're saying it's 14 karat gold. Well, we're gonna test this bracelet right now. Start the test. 10 karat gold.
14 karat gold is 58.3% pure gold, while 10 karat gold is only 41.7% pure gold, which means a massive quality and value gap. You can imagine how TraxNYC felt about this. People are buying what they think is his merchandise, paying premium prices, and getting lower quality products. And when those customers realize the quality isn't what they expected, whose reputation gets damaged? His, not AK Diamonds, because the customer thought they were buying from him in the first place. What I found really interesting is how TraxNYC handled this initial situation. He didn't just say, "Sorry, that's not my problem. You should have been more careful." $22,000 came out of his own pocket to make this customer whole, and that's the full purchase price of the bracelet plus an extra $2,000 for the inconvenience. Think about that for a second. $22,000 for someone else's alleged mistake, which isn't pocket change. Some people might look at that and say, it's just good business, you make the customer happy, you protect your reputation, you prevent bad reviews, and sure, that's all true. But it also shows you how seriously TraxNYC was taking this situation, because he wasn't just mad, he was willing to put real money on the line to prove a point and protect his brand.
And Max wasn't happy about it. Nor would I. I'm sure nobody would be, right? If you're running a business and you have somebody pretending to be you.
After he paid the customer, TraxNYC announced he was going to confront AK Diamonds directly because he wanted his money back and wanted them to pay back all the other customers they allegedly scammed. That's when things started escalating. Footage of TraxNYC before the actual confrontation shows how angry he is. He's in front of a camera tossing items on a counter and shouting, I mean really shouting, calling AK Diamonds greedy, saying they're using his name, and you can see the frustration building. The energy in these videos is intense, not someone who's mildly annoyed, but someone who feels like his entire business and reputation are under attack. And that's when comes the clip that went absolutely viral.
So he pulled up to the store, confronted them, and then he went crazy.
Where's my f***ing money, motherfucker? Where's my f***ing money?
TraxNYC storms into the AK Diamonds booth at 44 West 47th Street, which is literally in the same area as his own store, and he's confronting the owner directly while demanding to know where his money is and accusing him of using his name to scam people. Remember what I said earlier about how close together these booths are? This confrontation is happening in a very tight space with people all around, with other jewelers watching and customers watching, nothing private about it at all. Things escalate fast. You can see in the footage that other people start intervening and trying to restrain both TraxNYC and the AK Diamonds owners, while security gets involved, and then it just becomes a full-on physical scuffle with punches being thrown and people shoving each other. Complete chaos in this tiny booth.
But this happened under the man's roof. This happened under his roof. So Max went and paid the $22,000, and he demanded his money back.
But here's a really critical detail that gets lost sometimes when people talk about this. TraxNYC wasn't the one who started the physical part of this confrontation, and there's video footage of the exact moment things turned violent. One of the AK brothers, specifically George AK, spits directly in TraxNYC's face, and it's caught on camera. That's when the brawl breaks out. On the legal side of this, spitting on someone isn't just disrespectful, but actually criminal. In most jurisdictions, spitting on someone can fall under battery and can also be charged as harassment or even aggravated harassment, depending on the circumstances. George AK potentially committed a crime right there before any punches were even thrown, which means TraxNYC can argue he was responding to being assaulted first. After everything goes down, TraxNYC posts a follow-up video from inside an ambulance.
It was like 4 or 5 on 1. There was a bunch of dudes with AK Diamonds. They grabbed Max by his chain and they f***ing choked him.
He's showing the camera red marks on his neck and says someone tried to put him down, grabbed him by his own chain. Visibly shaken up with a mark on his head where he says he was punched, he's asking for a lawyer to DM him because he wants to pursue this legally. He later posted on Twitter that these scammers spit in my face and tried to put me down, and I can't let that slide. Those neck marks he showed on video were real, and NYPD confirmed to TMZ that TraxNYC was approached by 2 men. There was a verbal dispute that turned physical, and 2 individuals punched him with closed fists.
This was a smart move to add credibility for his business, and that's gonna kill his competition, if that's even competition for him. It's cool, like on camera, people are like, okay, this dude, he does real business with his customers, but the competitors, they gonna call that hit.
Bellevue Hospital is where TraxNYC was transported, and he was in stable condition with what NYPD described as minor injuries. Minor injuries or not, this was serious enough that he ended up in a hospital. 2 people got arrested, George A.K., who's 46 years old, and his brother Freddie A.K., who's 42. Both of them were arrested at the scene and charged with assault, and there's video of police escorting both brothers out of the Diamond District. According to public records, they're both from New Milford, New Jersey, and they run AK Diamonds as a family business. What makes the situation even more complicated is that according to some sources, the AK family has been in the jewelry business for over 47 years.
I am 1000% on the side of TraxNYC, as I know a lot of you guys are and should be, because the stealing, the deceit, guys, it's 2026.
This isn't some fly-by-night operation that just opened up last year, but a business with decades of history in the Diamond District, which makes the allegations against them even more shocking if they turn out to be true. Why would a business that's been around for nearly half a century suddenly start scamming people and using another jeweler's name? It doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface, and that's why some people are questioning the whole story. AK Diamonds has denied all the allegations. They released some CCTV footage that they claim shows the customer shopping at multiple booths before coming to them, and according to AK Diamonds, this contradicts the customer's story that he specifically came looking for TraxNYC merchandise. Beyond that, though, they've stayed pretty quiet, and when TMZ reached Freddie AK for comment, he declined to speak. That's probably smart from a legal standpoint, because when you're facing criminal charges, talking to the media usually isn't the best idea. Their silence also means we're only really hearing one side of this story in detail.
It is never going to stop. People are going to keep stealing, people are going to keep cheating, people are going to keep lying.
TraxNYC has been very vocal with posting videos and talking to media outlets and calling for other victims to come forward, while AK Diamonds has basically said, "We didn't do it," and then stopped talking. That creates a narrative imbalance where TraxNYC's version of events is the one most people are hearing and believing. I want to address something that some people online have suggested. Folks out there are saying this whole thing might be staged, like maybe it's some kind of publicity stunt or viral marketing campaign, and I get why people might think that. Everything about this is so dramatic and so perfectly captured on camera that it almost seems too good to be true. But I don't buy the stage theory for a second. No jeweler in their right mind would agree to be portrayed as a scammer and a fraud just to help someone else's Instagram views, and AK Diamonds has been operating for decades. You don't tank your reputation for someone else's viral moment because there's no amount of money that would make that worth it. Actual arrests happened here with actual assault charges and actual hospital visits.
Now listen, guys, things happen in life. People make mistakes. Things go the wrong way. It happens, but own up to it. Don't run away from it. Confront the problem, admit that you're wrong, figure out a solution.
George and Freddie AK now have criminal records related to this incident, and those are real legal consequences that follow you. If this were staged, you'd be talking about conspiracy to file false police reports, insurance fraud if anyone's filing claims, all kinds of serious crimes on top of the assault charges, which is way too much risk for a publicity stunt. The competing narratives here are genuinely contested. TraxNYC says he's been wronged, and his customers have been scammed, while AK Diamonds says they didn't do what they're accused of, but the physical altercation, the spitting, the arrests, all of that is very real. This isn't performance art, but an actual business dispute that turned violent. Let me clarify something about the alleged scam, because there's some confusion about this. The accusation here isn't that AK Diamonds was selling completely fake jewelry, not like they were selling plastic and calling it gold or selling cubic zirconia and calling it diamonds. The specific allegation is about quality misrepresentation. TraxNYC's claim is that AK Diamonds was selling gold advertised as 14 karat, but actually significantly lower quality. In the video, the bracelet tested as 10 karat when it was supposed to be 14 karat, and that's the fraud. You're paying for premium materials and getting something less than what you paid for, like buying premium gas for your car, but the station is actually pumping regular gas into your tank. You're still getting gas, just not what you paid for. And the second part of the alleged scam is that AK Diamonds was telling customers they were TraxNYC or affiliated with TraxNYC, so customers thought they were buying authentic TraxNYC products when they weren't. That's the double problem: lower quality gold plus brand misrepresentation. If both those things are true, that's definitely fraud. Although, whether they're both true is still being disputed. Where do things stand legally? Right now, George and Freddie AK are facing assault charges, which are criminal charges related to the physical altercation. Notice what's not there: fraud charges. There haven't been any criminal fraud charges filed yet regarding the underlying business dispute, so that's still an allegation, not a proven fact. TraxNYC has announced he plans to sue AK Diamond civilly, and that's separate from the criminal assault case. A civil lawsuit would be about the business side of things, the alleged scam, the damage to his reputation, the money he paid out to customers. Civil cases have a lower burden of proof than criminal cases because in a criminal case, you need proof beyond a reasonable doubt, while in a civil case, you just need to prove something is more likely true than not. Even if criminal fraud charges never materialize, TraxNYC could still win a civil case. He's also calling for other alleged victims to come forward. If there are multiple customers who can say, yes, I thought I was buying from TraxNYC, AK Diamonds told me they were affiliated, and the gold quality wasn't what I paid for, that builds a much stronger case. One customer could be a misunderstanding, but multiple customers with the same story creates a pattern, and that's much harder to explain away. This whole confrontation might actually be really good for TraxNYC's brand. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. You'd think getting into a physical brawl and ending up in an ambulance would be bad for business, but think about the message this sends to his customers. The whole world just watched TraxNYC go to war for his customers. $22,000 came out of his own pocket to make a scammed customer whole. He confronted the people he believed were destroying his reputation, and he put himself in physical danger to defend his brand. That's a powerful statement showing he cares about his reputation and his customers more than he cares about avoiding conflict or playing it safe. For a luxury brand, especially one that caters to celebrities and high-profile clients, reputation is everything. Those clients want to know that if they're going to spend tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars with you, you're going to stand behind your product and your name, and TraxNYC just demonstrated that in the most public way possible. Meanwhile, AK Diamonds looks really bad right now. Whether or not all of TraxNYC's accusations are proven true, the optics are terrible because you've got two owners arrested for assault, video of one of them spitting in someone's face, and competing narratives where they're being called scammers. That's brutal for any business, especially for a jewelry business where trust is everything. Would you want to buy a diamond engagement ring from a store that's been accused of selling lower quality gold than advertised? Probably not. This incident really highlights how much the jewelry industry depends on reputation and trust. When you're buying gold or diamonds or precious stones, you're often trusting the seller to tell you the truth about what you're getting because most customers can't tell the difference between 10 karat and 14 karat gold just by looking at it. You need special equipment to test it. And most people can't tell if a diamond is VS1 clarity or Si2 clarity without a microscope, so you're relying on the jeweler to be honest with you. That's why certifications and testing are so critical in this industry. Reputable jewelers will have their diamonds graded by independent organizations like GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, and why you should always get receipts that specify exactly what you're buying. Allegations like the ones TraxNYC is making are so damaging because if customers can't trust that they're getting what they pay for, the whole system breaks down. The Diamond District has operated on trust and relationships for decades. Many of these businesses are family-run operations that have been in the same location for generations and have built their reputations over years and years. So when that trust gets broken, whether it's true or just alleged, it affects everyone in that ecosystem. What's next for this story? There are going to be court dates for the assault charges, and George and Freddie AK will have to answer for the physical altercation. Depending on their criminal records and the specifics of what happened, they could be looking at jail time, probation, fines, or some combination of those things. Civil litigation is probably coming. TraxNYC said he plans to sue, and I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen because that case could take months or even years to resolve. Discovery could reveal a lot more information about AK Diamond's business practices and if TraxNYC's lawyers can get access to their sales records, their supplier information, their customer communications. All of that could paint a clearer picture of whether the fraud allegations have merit. And that's when there's the court of public opinion. This story went viral and millions of people have seen these videos, which is going to have lasting effects for both businesses, regardless of what happens legally. Even if AK Diamonds is completely exonerated, even if every single allegation is proven false, they're still going to be known as that jewelry store that got into a brawl with TraxNYC, and that's a hard reputation to shake. For TraxNYC, he's already positioned himself as the victim and the hero of this story, the guy who stood up for his customers, who confronted the scammers, who got assaulted for trying to do the right thing. Unless something dramatic changes in the narrative, that's how most people are going to remember this. If there's a lesson in all of this, it's about the importance of reputation in business and the risks of getting into disputes that turn physical. Could TraxNYC have handled this differently? Absolutely, because he could have gone straight to a lawyer, filed a lawsuit, gotten injunctions, pursued the matter through official channels without ever confronting anyone in person, and that would have been safer both physically and legally. But would it have been as effective? Maybe not, because the reason this story is everywhere right now is because of how dramatic it was. If TraxNYC had just quietly filed a lawsuit, that might have made page 6 of the business section. But instead, this is front page news with everyone talking about it and everyone knowing about the alleged scam now. That's not necessarily the right way to handle things, but it's certainly effective at getting attention. For AK Diamonds, this is a nightmare scenario, facing criminal charges, civil litigation, and massive reputational damage all at once. And even if they're completely innocent of the fraud allegations, the fact that their owners got into a physical altercation with another jeweler and got arrested for it is bad enough. That's not the kind of publicity any business wants. For customers, this is a good reminder to do your research, get everything in writing, and if you can, get independent verification of what you're buying. If you're spending significant money on jewelry, pay for an independent appraisal and make sure your receipt specifies exactly what you're getting in terms of carat, clarity, weight, all of it. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. This story is definitely not over because there are going to be more developments as the legal cases proceed. More information is going to come out. We might hear from more customers. We might see more evidence from both sides. For now, though, this is one of the wildest Diamond District confrontations we've seen in years, with a celebrity jeweler, a family business, fraud allegations, a physical brawl, arrests, and ambulance footage all rolled into one viral moment. What do you think about all this? Do you believe TraxNYC's allegations, or do you think there's more to the story? Let me know in the comments, and if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the follow-up when more details emerge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.